Last year, who would you guess was the worst performing major economy? Italy, UK, Greece? Well, actually, it was the economic powerhouse of Germany. Last year, Germany had their highest inflation rate in the post-war period. Real wages fell, and there was a general economic malaise. In the UK, we've developed a dark sense of humour about our railway system. Inefficient, late, cancelled trains and overpriced. When trains are cancelled for the wrong kind of leaves on our track, we kind of shrug our shoulders and make a joke. But no one in Germany is laughing at how their once much vaunted railway system seems to be picking up the British disease of cancelled trains, late services, and now drivers on strike. Germans are bemused to find their economy slipping down league tables of competitiveness. Germany has seen the biggest fall in the attractiveness of business in the world, slightly worse even than Brexit Britain. Now, there are some simple explanations for why Germany did badly last year. It was Germany who was most affected by the loss of cheap Russian gas and soaring oil and gas prices. However, the crisis of 2023 also highlighted the German debt brake rule, which limits the amount that governments can borrow. Last year, a German court struck down as unconstitutional a €60 billion worth of investment in climate change policy. From an economic perspective, an economy facing recession, which forces spending cuts on itself to meet arbitrary debt rules, is literally tying its own hands together. It's a self-imposed austerity, leading to a self-imposed recession. There are two golden rules of government borrowing. Firstly, it can be justified when there's a fall in private sector spending and the economy is heading to recession. It's the classic Keynesian analysis that government can take up the slack of the private sector to prevent a deep recession and unemployed resources. Secondly, borrowing can be justified to invest in long-term investment and infrastructure, which helps to promote long-term economic growth and development. This kind of borrowing can lead to higher economic growth and therefore higher tax revenues in the future. And also you could add a third reason to justify borrowing, to protect the long-term environment and also reduce your reliance on untrustworthy geopolitical partners. In Germany's current climate, all three major reasons for government borrowing are there. Germany's faced a real economic shock of losing cheap gas. It quickly needs to develop alternative sources of energy for both environmental and economic reasons. If ever there was a good time to borrow, it's now. Now, debt brake rules are often politically popular. It's because we liken government finances to our own household finances. We all know the famous Charles Dickens quote about slightly overspending leading to misery. But government borrowing is different. It's more like a young member of a family borrowing from a rich uncle who has loads of surplus savings. If we go to university, we take out a student loan because it's an investment in our future earnings. If we never borrowed, we would never be able to invest in buying a house or getting an education. And at the end of our life, we might have no debt, but we'd be worse off. So there are kinds of debt which are not reckless, but actually very desirable. And if there's one country who could afford to easily and cheaply borrow, it's Germany. German debt to GDP is very low by international standards. For example, Japan, a similar country, has debt of over 250% of GDP. In 1950, the UK also had very high debt of over 240% of GDP. If the UK had had a debt brake rule, like Germany does now, there would have been no NHS, no investment in public housing, no post-war rebuilding of the economy. Debt brakes just tend to force the government to make bad decisions, pursuing an artificial goal of debt limits and failing to invest in necessary investment which would lead to long-term benefits. Now, abolishing debt rules does not mean we always seek to increase government spending or borrow more. From a Keynesian perspective, the US shouldn't be running such a large budget deficit at this stage in the economic cycle. When growth is high, you should be reducing debt, not adding to it. Also, the government should not be seeking to replace the private sector investment, but there has to be a recognition the public sector will not invest in public goods like energy security and long-term environmental goals. Also, not every country has the flexibility of Germany. For example, this advice to abolish debt rules or not worry about debt wouldn't be applicable to a serial defaulter like, say, Argentina. The truth is the German economy has many strengths, but adherence to strict fiscal rules are not helping. Now, I've also got some exciting news in that I've started a new economics channel, Global Economics. This current channel will focus on the UK, and this video is really a teaser for a video I made on all the in-depth problems facing the German economy. It's not just about debt rules, but how the German car industry risks getting left behind by a new digital economy. So please do check it out, and if you're interested in global macroeconomics, do subscribe to the channel because there are lots of great videos coming soon. Thanks.